Welcome everyone to the Terrain Studio. I'm your host, Shawn Morris. Tonight on the Terrain Studio, I have for you another examination of Flames of War Army. Seeing that the first one I did was fairly well received, so I thought what better than to follow it up with another look. This is a twofold response. One, it's a response to the popularity of the first one, and also it's a response to a comment about a Mittilere Panzer company. So the company I have before you, it's a little hard to see under these lights. I will bring in a closer examination. The reason being is it's actually painted up in a whitewash with some snow. This is my winter-themed Mittilere Panzer company. This is a mid-war list. This list here is taken from Eastern Front, 1942-1943, and this is, doesn't say on there, I guess it says on the spine. Let me see if I can show that to you, bring it down without losing my page. It is a mid-war book. So the Mittilere Panzer Company is, again, very similar to the 38T list in the way that it's primarily composed of one tank type. Here before you, what you have is the Panzer III-N. The N is one of my favorite variants. If you're unfamiliar, the Panzer III comes in a G, H, a J, an L, an M, an N, and I think that's all the variants. So there's quite a few Panzer IIIs. If you're playing in a friendly game or sort of a low-key tournament, most people won't be able to tell between the variants, so they should let you play with any of the options. It gets very expensive in mid-war if you're buying all the different variants, but I run them as Ns and they're modeled as Ns, so it kind of mitigates any sort of confusion. So they are played as is. The list you see before you is not the full list. Actually, it's more than a full list. The list I typically run is the two Panzer Ns as the HQ option. One is a 2IC, one is an HQ. Then I run two platoons of 4, seen here. I run 4 Panzer IIs, seen here. And these are the F versions. Now, when I run it in that configuration, I also add a FAMO recovery vehicle here. I don't run any Tiger tanks with that. That configuration, as a fearless veteran list, so the best of the best, runs you right at around the 1500 point level. If, for example, you wanted to add a Tiger or 2 to the list, what you need to do is you need to minus one Panzer N from each of the platoons, bringing them down to 3. You'd also take out the Panzer IIs, and then you would be able to add 2 Tiger tanks. Still a very strong list, very low model count as well, so if that's something you want to get into, if you want to start a mid-war, especially if you're going to go tanks, they're very expensive point-wise, but that does save you model-wise. Important to note, the 38T list that I showed you in early war also runs in mid-war. It's considerably weaker in mid-war, but it's still a viable list, and it's very... It's cheap, so you can run it and get a lot of tanks, and you can add some bulkier heavy AT assets to that as well if you like. So, but the Panzer N list is really fun. The Panzer N itself is basically a middle of the road tank. It's a true sort of medium tank, I would say. The stats on the Panzer N are that it's fully tracked. It does only have a 24-inch range, but a lot of things in mid-war are the 24-inch range. It's not until you get to the late war stage that you're going to get a lot of the 32-inch range vehicles. It has a front armor of 6, rate of fire 2, side is 3, anti-tank is 9, so it's again middle of the road, but in mid-war it's bordering on the upper levels. It has top armor of 1, firepower 3 up, again running with the protected ammo and the dual machine gun. As well as you can add the Scherzen to the Panzer N, which I typically run if I have the points. Again, that gives you that extra option, especially when you're going into assault with these. And being as they make up most of the force, they are a nice, strong assaulting force. So you can just imagine running into a platoon of infantry if you're able to back it up with back-to-back 4-tank assaults. Very deadly, and this tank runs best in sort of almost a wedge formation. So really covering your flanks by using your other vehicles is the best way to run it. If you do run Tigers, you can certainly run those as a support. Again, with their long range, they'll really save your Panzer Ns. Most times they'll be fire magnets as well. and if your opponent doesn't happen to have anything to hurt them at all, they really become a stable AT asset that can blast away with almost reckless abandonment. So it's a pretty fun list to play. Of course, I don't really build lists that aren't fun to play, but in terms of skill level to play it, it's a pretty straightforward list again. Not a lot of moving pieces in terms of, you know, different units and things to worry about. It's really standard. You memorize a couple stats and you got the list. So let's just go in and have a look at some models, and then we'll call it an update. So the camo scheme here is, let me see if we can pick that up. It's sort of this crossed hatched pattern. So again, they're done up with a whitewash. Shirts in on some of them. Some of them have the shirts in missing. They are all numbered, and the decals are on there showing the units. Some of them have a little more snow than others. The snow, I wanted the snow done subtly, so it's just kind of resting in the recesses of the vehicle. It's not, you know, down in the wheels here and the drive wheels. A bit of snow on the decking in the back, but overall, it's not meant to be an over-the-top winter theme army. It's more of a, you know, almost getting into the thaw. So it's something I want to go through. I've seen a lot of heavy whitewash, and it's not really something I really like. But on the Panzer IIs, there's a little more of the snow effect. So you got a little bit of snow buildup here at the back. They're a little heavier on the dry brush. Again, magnetized turrets. So people are asking about how you magnetize a turret. These are done with a dual magnet, so you can see there's a magnet in the base of the hull as well as a magnet in the chassis of the tank. So there you go. It's got a nice secure pull. Crew commander here. Again, some snow on the back decking. Just not over the top, just a very subtle effect. So it was done quite well, I think. Of course, the monsters of the list, the Tigers here. Again, you can really pick up the camo pattern, or hopefully you can, on the turret top here. A little bit of snow as well. So typically don't run a lot of Tigers, but in mid-war they are kind of scary beasts. So they're fun to field, and you can field them in ones. So if you just want to, you know, use them for flavor or try them out, you certainly don't have to commit to a large platoon. They are massively pointed in mid-war. I believe 2 cost 970 points. So if you really want to go for a super low model count list, you can actually take the Tiger tanks with Panzer and Escort. What you do is you take a Tiger and an Escort, a Tiger and an Escort, and then you have a special ability where you can actually platoon up your Escorts and platoon up your Tigers. So you have a small platoon of 2 Panzer Ns, and then you have a platoon of 2 Tigers. It's literally like a 2 platoon list. You can take it a 3rd platoon, but then you're conf grouping to make the 4th. So it's a very, very low model count list, and probably not recommended for tournaments, but it's pretty fun if you want to get something on the table in a quick fashion. Here's the FAMO. If you haven't seen these vehicles, they're massive. I'll put that next to a Tiger tank. So there you go. As you can see, the FAMO is actually larger than the Tiger. So they did use these, I believe, to actually tow out stuck Tigers. If I could be incorrect on that, but that's what I was once told. So there's the FAMO there, again done with the whitewash just to match the motif of the list, and for 5 points it's nice to add. So okay, folks, well, we're going to call that an update for this evening, and I hear the phone ringing in the background, so I sure hope that's not Gun Barrel once again. But thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate you guys tuning into the Terrain Studio. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.